You're listening to the audio production of Biblical Critical Theory Audio Lectures, How the Bible's Unfolding Story Makes Sense of Modern Life and Culture, Part 2, by Christopher Watkin, published by Zondervan and read by the authors. These audio lectures are a unique learning experience. Unlike a traditional audiobook's direct narration of a book's text, this production includes high-quality live recordings that cover the important points from each chapter, as well as relevant material from other sources.
Welcome back. In this session, we're going to begin looking at the incarnation of the Lord Jesus Christ. And I can't help saying that I do so with not a little excitement. In the sessions up until now, we've been doing a lot of looking forward. It's been very hard sometimes not to go right to Jesus and say, look, this is pointing to him and let's think about him. And now, finally, we come to the point that all of the Bible up until now has been throwing us forwards to, ever since God promised to Eve in Genesis chapter 3, that Eve's offspring would crush Satan's head. And now, therefore, we get to the fulfillment of all God's promises, the bodying forth of all prophecy in the Old Testament with the Lord Jesus Christ. And I think, therefore, as Christians, as we get to this point in the Bible, there's an electricity that we feel. We're finally seeing the Lord Jesus Christ himself. And I want to focus for this session on one particular passage from the Bible. But then again, it is no ordinary passage. It's one of those passages that has etched itself into the consciousness not only of Christians, but of our culture as well. It's John chapter 1, verses 1 to 14, where John talks about the Word becoming flesh, making his dwelling among us. And I want to begin with a particular aspect of that passage. I want to begin thinking along with you about the way that it talks about light and darkness. Remember, the light shines in the darkness, John said, because Western culture for the longest time has also thought very much in terms of light and darkness. Think, for example, of the Enlightenment and the way in which light is an image of knowledge and reason there. I want to go back really to the very origin of that identification of light with truth. I want to take you to a cave. It's Plato's cave in his book, The Republic. And he tells a story that goes something like this. There are prisoners chained up in a cave, so that they can only look forwards. They can't turn their heads and see what's behind them. And on the wall of the cave in front of them, they can see flickering shadows. They can sort of make out what the things might be, but it's indistinct and unclear. Now, we who are listening to the story, as Plato tells it, know what's behind them because he tells us. There's a fire, and there are people walking in front of the fire holding objects that cast shadows, therefore, on the wall in front of these prisoners. So the prisoners can see the shadows, but they can't see the real objects. Now, one of these prisoners in Plato's story manages somehow to escape and walks up out of the cave and sees the blazing sun outside. Obviously realizes this life that I've been living up until now has been, quite literally in his case, merely a shadow. This is how things really are. I've got to go back and tell people. So goes back into the cave. But they don't believe him. They can't accept that the shadow reality that they've spent all their lives experiencing is not the real reality, and so they end up killing him. How is light functioning in relation to knowledge in Plato's cave story? Well, it's an achievement, isn't it? The prisoner must break free, must do something, must scramble out of the cave, must perform in order to experience the light. The view of the sun, if
Sample complete. Ready to continue?